Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing the Happy Witch tag. So I'll have the questions down in the description, but let's go ahead and get started. So question number one, what makes you happiest about the fact that you're a witch? I feel like this is a weird answer, but currently I really love that you can take responsibility for the life you live. Like, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because sometimes you're like, oh my god, I manifested this. But at the same time, like, you have the tools and ways to make your reality to some degree. Of course, usually, like, you probably should, like, go to a doctor if you have a broken arm, opposed to, like, putting clear quartz crystals on your arm and hoping it's just gonna fix itself. But on a whole, like, especially on, like, the psychological level and, like, the idea of, like, the power of the mind and stuff, like, it is so fun to just be able to know that if I'm struggling to, like, get my next book written, I can go do a spell, or I can go do a ritual, or I can pull some cards, or pull a rune, or I can do a meditation, figure out what this block is, and then work through it, whether that's, again, through all of those tools to be able to deal with it. To me, like, that's the thing that makes me the happiest, because I can do something about it. I'm not just this passive entity out in the abyss. Question number two, which practice do you tend to enjoy most in your witchcraft and why? I'm gonna kind of cheat. I like the physical of witchcraft. I like the altars and setting up the pretties and having stuff. I like having candles and oils and crystals and herbs and rocks and statues, and I like the stuff of it. So I don't know if that's a practice, but, like, I don't love meditations. I don't love visualizations. I don't love affirmations and grounding and, like, all of that stuff. Like, if I had to sit down and do that stuff, I will, but what makes me happy is to sit there and, like, roll your own candles. That's way more fun. That's, like, I love that. And I mean, it's not like a practice, but it is. It's like the tangible stuff in my craft that I love the most. Question number three, how have you changed in positive ways as the result of practicing the craft? Before I was a witch, it was very much the world was happening to me, and I had no power and no control. And over the years of being a witch, now that I'm going on my 13th year this September, I am in control. I'm the one who decides what happens. Nobody else does. And witchcraft was the tool that let me realize that. Question number four, what has been the most positive result you have had from a spell or ritual? There's two. I can't decide between the two. So the first one is I finally did a love spell that was the way the books tell you to do it. And it was very much in the, you know, you list out the things, but you don't give it to a specific person, you give it to the universe. And within, like, a week or less, my fiance walked into my life. The other one is the more recent one of I managed to finally get myself out of the very awful cycle of work and doing the things that I actually love and realizing how much work needs to go into it. And doing that, but I manifested this life, and I am so happy about it. Moving on to question five, how has your craft enriched the lives of others? Well, number one, I would hope that what I share from my craft has helped you guys watching right now, because that's kind of my goal, is to encourage others to go do their thing and hopefully help give ideas and, you know, what this thing, hope it's helping your life. But in my, you know, real world life here, not in the interwebs, I would say that it has helped me to be a lot more understanding and have a lot more patience for people. I don't know if I would say it's totally enriching, but it has made me a not as toxic of a person being a witch, because again, I was just like this coiled little snake wanting to bite at anything nearby, and I just wanted to hide from people for the longest time. And I never felt really confident in who I was, and when you don't feel confident in who you are as a person, you tend to lash out in various ways, whether that's hiding and not wanting to talk to people, or you put on this shell and you are just a very hard person to connect with because, like, you're just like, no, I can't, like, no. And witchcraft has made me slowly become more caring and try to reach out to people more, have a little more empathy, and just kind of build and work on myself so that I can give to others. So I feel like that's the way it has kind of enriched other people's lives, because like I'm not teaching young witches to do the craft here in real world, again, here, but it's your self-paced. You can watch as many of my videos as you want, or none of them, whatever. But obviously you're watching it because you're here. And it's also like, I don't really know that it's really impacted other people's lives. Like, most of my family doesn't know or care that I'm a witch, so it hasn't really swayed it one way or the other. Friends, same deal. We do not do anything about it at all. The most is my fiance, and I just encourage him to do more of the craft because he sees me doing it all the time, and he does when he can. So like if I'm doing a lot of witchery, then he'll be like, maybe I'll go to the altar too, even though he's tired. Like that's, I guess, the most. But other than that, being a solitary, you're not really enriching a lot of people's lives, so you gotta get a little more creative. Number 6, what are you most looking forward to trying in your craft and why? I want to get into candle making, not to sell, but for making my own spell candles. I am so excited for it, and I've heard that beeswax is like the easiest to do, and I like that idea of easy, because you get a sheet, and then I guess you just like roll it, is what it sounds like. So we'll see. But I also like the idea of making candles and like putting your intentions into it and like brewing up a candle. Like, it's so cool, and I want to do that. And I have these visualizations of like, but I could be brewing it in my driveway because I'm afraid of burning my house down. And like, I remember doing that when I was in elementary school. We made candles when we were learning about the pioneers and like how they made candles back in the day. And it was super cool. You got like a piece of string, which is the wick, but as a kid it was like, ooh, we got string. And then you just dunked it into the wax like a bajillion times, and then inevitably you got a candle. And it was so cool. And I've tried to make candles over the years. Once in a while I'll get a wild hair and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And then I make like 2 because I've never gotten them to turn out. But beeswax, if you just roll that sucker and that's it, you call it a day. I can do that. And then you like put herbs and oils and stuff. I'm excited about it. Number 7, what do you like the most about the witchy community online and or offline? So the thing I love the most about our online witchy community is that you can connect with people from literally the entire globe. You don't have to be restricted by where you live. Like, you can make connections with people who are in other parts of the country, other parts of the world. Like, it's so great. We can share ideas from people all over the world. And like, that's a very new thing. Like, there's no way we would have known about like 90% of the people on this planet without the invention of social media. And naturally, because of that, we have these thriving witchy communities where you can get a bunch of ideas and you can just interact with each other, and it's just so nice to have. But my absolute favorite part of it is probably the video responses and like the actual talking to each other part, because while it's nice to have a bunch of videos out there that you can watch on your own, it's really nice to have a conversation with people, whether it's typing or videos back and forth. It's just so exciting. My favorite thing for the witchy community in real life is when you can actually get together and do magic, because it is so fun. If you've never done a ritual in like person with other people, it's a different experience. Like, even as somebody who deals with a lot of anxiety with people, it's still so magical. Like, every single one that I've gone to has been so different. Like, you get ideas, but like, it's awesome to get to do magic with other people, and like, you're together doing this thing. And like, probably the people who went to church growing up don't have as much of a revelation about that because like, that was a normal thing. But when you didn't, and now you have a group of people, of like-minded people, that you're doing the same thing, and it's so cool. It's fun. I really love it. And it's been awesome to go to rituals and like, everyone participates and everyone's doing a different thing, and like, the energy is just, oh, it's magic. And then the food afterwards, because everyone always does a potluck after. It's the best. Number 8, how do you envision your craft evolving positively in the future? Now that I'm doing it full time, really, I am reading a lot of books and getting a lot more ideas. So I think it's just gonna get a little bit more creative in how I do things, like doing a witchy garden, and not just for like herbs to use in magic, but like, I'm hoping maybe next year to be able to have like a couple of like fruit tree berry thingamajigs, whatever. I don't know if it's gonna turn into a tree, if it's just a bush, but like, I want to try growing food. I want to try growing potatoes because they're my favorite, and it would, like, the magic and weirdness of that and like getting into that kind of magic, because like obviously gardening is like gardening, but like even if I grow like one potato, it's gonna be so cool. I get to grow a potato. Or my quest of growing pumpkins. Maybe one year they will not all die. But this freaking heat out here, man, I don't know that I'll ever grow them. But it's a fun task that maybe one day I'll be able to do. But just like different things coming into my craft and into my life, like doing more kitchen witchery and stuff. Like, I'm really excited to start including that. It's gonna be so much fun. Question number 9. How do you keep your witchcraft practice healthy, happy, and productive? That's a really interesting question. I've never thought of, is my practice healthy or unhealthy? Actually, I guess the way I keep it healthy is that I constantly will check in with myself and see what's working and what's not and why. I've talked about that a lot recently, but if something's not working, I will change it. And if I find myself not doing stuff, I'll find out why I'm not and address it and then change it. And then that way my practice is still thriving, just in a different way. Some way, somehow it'll happen. And question number 10. What is one piece of advice you would share with other witches to help them make their path more positive? Read and research a lot and try different things, and don't just go off of what one person says to do. Like, there's a reason I have so many books that we are slowly reading through all of them. And I constantly am looking at different people, even if I don't do the same stuff, but just to be able to learn from others. It is so important. And just like constantly try different things and see what works and what doesn't for you. Again, as long as you're not hurting anyone, I don't see much of an issue. If you want to put different pantheons together, or you want to give this as an offering, or you think that this should be how you go to the altar every day. Again, if it's not hurting anyone, go try it. See if it's gonna work for you. So anyways, that is going to be it for the Happy Witch tag. I would love to hear your answers in the comments down below. Do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day. And I do have a Patreon if you want exclusive content from me, patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.